Yes, we are live. Did you guys see this new movie? Yeah, died suddenly. It was released on Twitter last night, as far as I could tell. Well, actually, they said that the movie is the first one ever released via Twitter because of Elon Musk's new censorship regime. So, because of the censorship regime, I'm going to have to be careful about exactly how I describe what happened in that movie, but I will tell you about it. So, and it is, wow. You'll have to check it out. It's available on Rumble, and it's available on Twitter, and it's called Died Suddenly. And it's about how people, like if you Google died suddenly, you'll see a bunch of stories about people who died suddenly. Some of them young people. And then you have to think, oh, is this new? Is this new? Like, that's the problem with Google searching for something. So you Google it and you say, wow, it seems like a lot of people died suddenly, but you can't tell what the search would have been if you'd made the same search before the thing they said is killing people. I don't even know if I can say the thing they said is causing these crazy blood clots. They're not even blood clots. They're like stringy. They even had to come up with a different name for them. These structures that they're pulling out of people's blood vessels. So I'll tell you about it. I will tell you about it, and I will just hope that YouTube will take mercy on my soul. I saw Viva Frey talking about it. So, and I watched the movie, so I want to report on it. And then you don't have to, I mean, you could watch it. There's some disturbing stuff in there. You know those videos with the people spinning around and sometimes falling into trains? That's in that movie. The movie has a conspiracy theory. It makes a broad conspiracy theory. That's what it's about, actually. But I can tell you about conspiracy theories as long as I debunk them, I think. I think that's the rule. Because otherwise, how are normal people going to find out about conspiracy theories? You got to tell people what they are. Like, oh, there is this conspiracy theory. For example, people have a conspiracy theory that the vaccine is causing these issues. So that's like what the movie proposes. But I have to debunk that conspiracy theory and say, obviously, that's not happening. And please don't look at any government data on that, like the VAERS system, which is completely misinformation, even though it was set up by the government to let them know if there's anything wrong with vaccines. Be careful. And might I remind you, doing your own research is what conspiracy theorists do. So please don't do your own research. You can trust things that you see on YouTube because they'll censor things that are bad for you. So just the fact that this video is still on YouTube means that you can trust everything that happens here. So when I tell you that obviously the vaccine isn't what's causing people to die, you can believe me. Because if it was misinformation, they would censor it. So I could tell you all kinds of other things too. And then you would know that it was the truth because you're seeing it on YouTube. All right. So I'll tell you about that. I want to tell you guys about what's going on with the LGBTQ plus situation because we had the gay nightclub shooting, which I think it's there was a gay nightclub shooting at Pulse nightclub. Must have been many years ago. During my YouTube career, though, I didn't make any videos about it, but I watched videos about it. And let me tell you, that Pulse nightclub shooting boy, oh boy. We'll have to look into it again someday after the statute of limitations runs out, when you're allowed to say what you really think. But yeah, that Pulse nightclub shooting was something else. But even Glenn Greenwald says that in regards to that Pulse nightclub shooting, that was not an anti-gay attack, as it turned out. Now, I can't tell you what it really was, but officially, even is what I'm saying. Officially, even if you go by the official story, that one was not actually motivated by anti-gay hatred. Was this one? We don't know for sure, but they're definitely trying to tell us for sure that it was, but we don't know for sure. So I'll cover all the latest with that. I mean, basically the way the mainstream media has it is like people said groomer, or people were allowed to say groomer on the internet, yada, yada, yada. People got shot up in a gay club, basically. Like that's how they picture it. That's how the mainstream media is portraying it. People said groomer, people died. People said, but even Tim Pool, I'll show you. Even Tim Pool says that it's because of the rhetoric. Tim Pool basically agrees with Ben Collins. And Ben Collins is definitely all over the news. So I'll show you what people are saying about that. And then I think it was Anthony Fauci's last day today. I think it was Anthony Fauci's last day. And he appeared in front of people, in the White House like they do, with Karine Jean-Pierre and some other pharma bros from the administration, definitely 100% pushing the vaccine once again on his way out. But it got contentious there at that hearing. So I can show you what some of the statements were. I mean, I can show you what some of the statements were, and then I'll see what I can say about it. But I will say it was crazy. It was crazy. But I don't know how much I can say. But I'll show you anyway, so you guys can decide on your own. You can make your own mixed videos of Anthony Fauci saying it's people who don't have the vaccine. If it's people who are unvaccinated that are at risk, let me tell you, not people who are vaccinated. Forget what you saw. Forget those clot things. It's not people who are vaccinated who have things to worry about. It's unvaccinated people. So I'll start the show. You ready? Let's see. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news. Nobleness D in the chat, God bless you. Nobleness D who misread the title to the show, which said died suddenly review and Anthony Fauci's last day. And she just mixed everything together and thought that Anthony Fauci had died suddenly. So for anybody who made the same mistake, as far as I know so far today, Anthony Fauci has not died suddenly, but it's possible he will. I mean, if this movie plays out, then, man, I don't know. I mean, So anyway, I watched the movie. I'll give you a review of it because there's no way it could ever appear on YouTube. And it was released on Twitter, and that's where I watched it. And it's an interesting way to release movies. It was released by Stu Peters, who also released other conspiracy theory movies, including Watch the Water, which I believe proposed that COVID-19 was spread through toxins in the water. I believe something that I don't know if many people actually believed it was true. So that was one of his previous movies, the Stu Peters character. But anyway, it was produced and it's put out for free, totally different than some of the other conspiracy movies that have been coming out lately, which all seem to be released on the Daily Caller and people have to pay for big subscriptions and stuff to watch them. This one, you can watch it on Twitter and you can watch it on Rumble. And it seems to be totally for free. So I don't know. I'm curious, like how somebody can put together a movie that's pretty good and not get paid for it. And speaking of which, if you want to support the show, that is what keeps this kind of entertainment going. So I do need your support. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, and then you don't give 30% to YouTube. And you can also check out our t-shirts at truthclothing.io. That's our website. I'm wearing a t-shirt I don't even think we sell anymore. I think we're already sold out. But we have limited edition items at truthclothing.io. So anyway, I don't know. And I am curious, like where they get the funding for it. It was, without getting into the content, it was a good movie. Like it was well produced, it was well edited, and it was entertaining and engaging through the whole thing. So it was well done, which again is amazing considering that it's available for everybody to watch. And it's about an hour and 10 minutes or something. So it's pretty easy to get through. Basically, the premise of the movie. So this is where I tell you what the conspiracy theory is, and then I debunk it, right? So I can fit in within YouTube standards. So I can tell you what the conspiracy theory is. And then I'll debunk it. Okay, so I'll tell you that it's totally not true. In the movie, they propose that elites actually are trying to reduce the human population. And they show video of like Bill Gates saying, oh, if we do well with the vaccines, then the population will go down. So he did kind of say that once. It was weird. He said, oh, if we do well with the vaccines and abortions and stuff, then the world population will go down. So that was part of it. And then it was proposing that, and then the Georgia Guidestones have that thing about wanting to reduce the world population. So the actual premise of the film is that they, like the elites, are trying to reduce the human population and that they're doing that with the vaccine. So this is where I say, obviously, that's crazy conspiracy theory. And obviously, no one would ever be that diabolical to want to kill people and reduce the population with the vaccine and stuff. But that's what they said in the movie. And then their evidence for that is, for one thing, these weird clot things, these weird clot structures, which again are not even blood clots because they're made up of some other white fibrous material. And there are embalmers in the movie that say that they're pulling this stuff out of people like crazy. Somebody's knocking at the door. Sorry. I don't know why. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll play some music. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry. There was somebody at the door. We just got a shipment of shirts. So once again, you can get those at truthclothing.io. So what was I saying? So they're pulling out these like freakish looking things from people's arteries and veins. And they even show it in the movie where they're pulling it out of people. And then they also show blood that seems to appear like sandy or like it has something in it. And they say that is weird. And then they say these embalmers, and there's a few of them in the movie, that they only started seeing it since the vaccine for the most part. So that's the premise of the movie, is that the vaccine, they're saying there's these structures inside of people that are dying that embalmers are finding. And that, so anyway, I said the conspiracy theory that's in the movie, and obviously that's not true. Obviously, the CDC says the vaccine is safe and effective. It reduces transmission. It does all these great, amazing things. And you'd be crazy not to get one. Really crazy. Even, in fact, they'll put you on meds in Canada if you refuse the vaccine, apparently. So that's officially that everything in the movie. But the movie does propose it could have to be more mainstream. It could have just said, hey, there's a stuff going on with embalmers where they're finding these weird structures inside of people. And that started happening, let's say, after the vaccine rollout, if that's the case. And they could just leave it at that and say, what's up with that, right? And not say, oh, it's because the elites are using the vaccine to depopulate us, because that is a conspiracy theory, which they don't really prove. And it's kind of almost impossible to prove that the elites are that the vaccine was intentionally released to depopulate the earth. And so they could have left that out, but that's the movie we got. And who's to say, right? But I'm here to say, obviously, it's a total conspiracy theory. But the movie it does propose basically a broad conspiracy to reduce the population. And that's what it's really about. And it splices in a lot of stuff and has some conversations with some different doctors and things. And it does like leave you afterwards thinking, wow, like a lot of people are going to die, maybe, or people are dying. I mean, that's true. So that's a fact, I think I can say, is that more people are dying than usual in a lot of different places. People don't know why. And it's definitely not the vaccine, but it's happening still. So you come away from it thinking that too. But who knows about those videos with people spinning around, falling into trains and stuff? I don't even know if the videos are all from the same time period. The videos could be old. I have no idea. So it's hard to fact check exactly something like that, where people are saying that people are having these weird seizure attacks and that somehow that's also related to the vaccine. But obviously it's not. But okay. So hopefully I got away. Hopefully the way I said it is acceptable, because I don't know how else to be able to discuss the movie that is a real movie that came out that has a conspiracy theory in it, which I said isn't true. And Dr. Fauci knows for sure that it's not true. And after that movie came out yesterday, and a bunch of people have watched it, I don't know the numbers yet. I'd have to go on Rumble and see what the numbers are to see how many people have seen it there. On Twitter, a number of people saw it. So it's getting some traction. And like I said, it is entertaining, regardless of whether you believe it or not. So it's worth watching. All right. So That's that review. Okay. And I can't play anything from it. Just tell you that they had a lot of graphic stuff with people's blood and stuff coming out of them and stuff. All right. So now that's the story that's the whole story about Died Suddenly, the movie that's on Twitter. Now, let's talk about Drag Queen Story Hour, just for something else more controversial. So, because people said groomer on the internet, people got killed. That's what they're saying. So, there's definitely a debate right now between people who are saying that the reason they shot up the gay bar in Colorado is because people were saying anti-gay stuff, and because of the anti-gay, or what they call anti-trans legislation. They're blaming that on why people got shot in Colorado, even though it's, once again, I don't think they've announced the motive officially for this case. But that hasn't stopped people from the New York Times and then from NBC, Ben Collins and Brandy Zadrozny are both talking about it. So this is Ben Collins. You guys hear about him all the time. He's the guy who works for NBC News, who's always going after conspiracy theories and always trying to put people in their place and always trying to censor people. And he is talking about how his reporting is good because he's been warning people about what happens. And then this is what happens. So I have a few clips from him. This is a clip where he defends Drag Queen Story Hour. Okay. As just being something where drag queens read Dr. Seuss books. Okay. So I'll play that. Hold on. Let me play that clip for you. This is Ben Collins.
How significant are those two dates?
Yeah, and also hours before what they called an all-ages drag brunch, which is probably the number one target of these anti-LGBTQ events recently. Like, for example, the Proud Boys will go and protest any drag brunch, any drag story hour, anything that a child might go to meet a drag queen, not, just to show them that they're human beings and people. They go there and they read Dr. Seuss there. They read regular books, but it's read by a drag queen, and they have breakfast. It is not some hypersexual event, but that's what it's viewed as on the far right. Mm-hmm. And these spaces have become dangerous places of real life information warfare. There's Proud Boys showing up on one side. Sometimes people like local Antifa members show up on the other side as a way that it becomes a place where kids aren't safe, not because of the event itself, but because of this culture war that's been propped up on top of it. And that's not something that should happen. This is not something, these people should be able to live their lives without fear of being murdered, literally. But right now, that's the sort of climate that's been created by anti-LGBTQ protesters and, frankly, bigots.
And frankly, bigots. So I'll tell you, that's because of the climate that's been created. And once again, they tied this guy, the guy who committed this crime allegedly, to Republican. His grandfather is apparently some kind of MAGA Republican, actual like assemblyman or something in California. That's what they tied him to. And then they also said that he committed a crime, or that he was involved in some kind of major bomb threat, kidnapping situation where a neighborhood almost got evacuated because of this bomb threat situation / kidnapping situation. And that was only in 2021. And then somehow the same guy, even though they have red flag laws in Colorado where they can take your guns away for stuff like that, the guy still somehow had guns, right? So then, but obviously the blame is the rhetoric, which they call anti-LGBTQ, but which people are adamant is not anti-LGBTQ, but anti-groomer, anti-people who are trying to sexualize kids, basically, not anti-gay. But it is what's really interesting is that Tim Pool basically believes the same thing, apparently. So Tim Pool tweeted this today. I'll show you. Basically saying the same thing. He said that this club that got shut up, Club Q, posted they were having an all ages drag show the next day, and the shooter came in 2 hours later. And he says, Tim Pool wrote, people keep calling for wood chippers, and this is what happens. Basically saying that people are saying, I guess, that all the pedos need to be put in wood chippers. I haven't seen that meme, but somebody posted the meme underneath what Tim Pool said. But I guess people are saying you got to throw pedos in wood chippers, which is certainly possible. And Tim Pool says that's what's to blame, is because they posted this thing about an all ages drag brunch that that's the reason the person went in. So, interesting. He would say that. Now, I don't like to blame people. I don't like to blame conspiracy theories for the reasons that people go and commit violence. But sometimes people do commit violence who read things on the internet. I mean, certainly there were some people who are into QAnon who did some weird stuff that was maybe sort of inspired by stuff they learned about basic QAnon. But it's still, I don't, blaming speech for actions is always a bit of a stretch to me. So I don't know that it's really because who would have advocated shooting up a gay club? I don't know. I mean, reasonable people obviously don't think you should shoot people, but unreasonable people can do unreasonable things. And could they have been inspired? I don't know. You guys have to decide. But Tim Pool, strangely enough, seems to agree with Ben Collins that it's because of the rhetoric that people got killed, allegedly. So let me show you this. Brandy Zadrozny works for the same company for NBC, and she also commented on it and basically kind of blamed libs of TikTok, which is what I was saying they were trying to do. Basically, they're trying to blame libs of TikTok. They're trying to blame anybody who's talking about anything. Could be trans surgeries for kids, could be trans men or trans women in women's sports. All of it's kind of being lumped together as anti-LGBTQ. And so this is where Libs of TikTok gets thrown under the bus by Brandy Zadrozny, who's the other NBC person. Well, let me mute that. I'll play this.
Brandy, explain that when you hear that, your reaction to it, and then kind of walk us through how rhetoric online, rhetoric from politicians can ultimately trickle down into real life, and seeing examples of what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, the response is heartbreaking. I mean, it's a group of marginalized, vulnerable people who are disproportionately the victims of these sort of hate crimes, who are just simply saying, please stop. Please stop making money and gaining political power on our backs and on violence against us. And seemingly the answer from everybody is no, we won't stop that because it's too politically expedient, or it makes us too much money and we don't want to, or we don't know how. I've been following this since about March and April. We follow, online hate trends, I guess. And since April and March, really the LGBT community has been the main focus of this hatred. There is a pipeline. It starts from some smaller accounts online, like Libs of TikTok. It moves to the right-wing blogosphere, and then it ends up on Tucker Carlson, or it ends up out of a right-wing politician's mouth. And it's a really dangerous cycle that does have real-world consequences.
So there you go. That's what she says. Basically, and it's interesting, right? This tweet says from the Washington Free Beacon, said that senior news reporter Brandy Zadrozny blames libs of TikTok and Tucker Carlson for the mass shootings, which is kind of what she was doing, I thought. And she denies that. Brandy Zadrozny replied to this tweet and said that that is absolutely not true, and you delete and correct that tweet. But she did kind of. I mean, that is what they're doing. That is what they're trying to say. 100% is that people like Libs of TikTok, which she calls a small account, which is hilarious, because compared to Brandy Zadrozny's account, and she's supposed to be a famous reporter, Libs of TikTok has way more followers and influence, but she says a small account like Libs of TikTok says something about a drag queen story hour or what have you. And so that's the news from Zadrozny, blaming Libs of TikTok. Let's see. I also have Ben Collins almost crying about it. And people are going after Ben Collins big time. He's catching the heat from the people on the right for sure. So I've noticed him for a long time because Ben Collins wrote an article about one of my videos ages ago. I've known this guy. He polices the internet is what he considers his job. Him and Brandy Zadrozny police the internet. They make sure that you're saying the right things, or you're not saying the wrong things, or if anyone says the wrong things, they get censored. So this is him again talking more about it. Play more of Ben Collins. Thanks for your donations at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'll check those near the end of the show and read those out. All right, let me see. Here he is. Like I said, almost tearful, talking about how he's done as much as possible and reported on exactly the right things.
I do want to say, though, am I doing something wrong here? Here are some headlines that I wrote the last 6 months. Fueled by internet's far-right machine, anti-LGBTQ threats shut down trans rights and drag events. Remember, there was a drag event happening in Colorado. Yeah. Anti-trans stalkers at Kiwi Farms, which is a anti-trans website that stalks people, are chasing one victim around the world.
I don't know if that's slander or what. Kiwi Farms is a website. It's not. It is a website where people talk about trans people and they do some doxing and stuff. But I don't know if you can describe it as an anti-trans website that stalks people, but that is how he describes it. And he wrote an article about it. So this is the guy. I mean, he's on the side of Keffel, who tried to get, who ended up getting, what's his name? Nick Rekieta, screwed with. And so while Nick Rekieta was getting screwed with by Keffels, this guy, Ben Collins, took their side and went against Kiwi Farms and tried to get Kiwi Farms shut down. Kiwi Farms, which is like a message board, right? Where people do different kinds of things. But he calls it anti-trans website that stalks people. And then also in these headlines, you can see the Boston Children's Hospital. Like, you just can't, they're basically saying you can't talk about any of this stuff. Like, if you're worried by kids being turned into the other gender or what have you, you are promoting violence or someone's going to die. You say groomer, somebody's going to die.
their list of targets is growing. That was a couple months ago. Doctors under threat from far-right activists for providing trans care. Boston Children's Hospital faces bomb threat after right-wing harassment campaign. There were 3 of those bomb threats. FBI charges Massachusetts woman with Boston Children's Hospital bomb threats, so they found one of the people. At least 20 Republican politicians have claimed that schools are making accommodations for students who identify as cats. That was before the midterms. Here are 3 more from my colleagues in the last 3 weeks.
What is he trying to say? That people got killed because of the cat thing? Because I covered that. Yes, it seems like there is no evidence that there are litter boxes in schools. It seems like, or somebody would have come out with a picture or something by now. But did people really die because of that? Because people were saying that? I mean, really? So this is what I mean. He really wants to police people. So people did say, they spread this conspiracy theory that there were litter boxes in schools. But are people dying because of that, Ben Collins? Really? But this is what he's saying.
As election nears, some conservative groups have ramped up anti-trans campaign ads. Far-right figures appear to be testing Twitter's boundaries for anti-LGBTQ speech. GOP senator targets TikTok influencer with anti-transgender taunt. And I'm just wondering, what could I have done different? Seriously, as reporters, what can we do different? Because there are 5 dead people in a strip mall, because that was the only place they felt safe as gay or trans people in this town in Colorado Springs. And I am trying to thread this needle here. I'm trying to say that this is happening. This targeted stuff has real life impacts. They say on the internet has real life impacts. And I'm going to fail, by the way. I'm going to, freak out because it's happening, because I wake up and I see that there are 5 dead bodies. But I think we have to have a come to Jesus moment here as reporters. Are we more afraid of being on Breitbart for saying that trans people deserve to be alive? Or are we more afraid of the dead people? Because I'm more afraid of the dead people. I don't want to wake up on a Sunday and see that all of these headlines came to fruition.
So it's just funny he says that. He goes, am I wrong for saying trans people deserve to be alive? And then you think to yourself, who's saying that trans people should be dead? I mean, really? Because I follow people on the internet, like libs of TikTok and stuff. I haven't seen anybody calling for the death of trans people. Nobody's saying they shouldn't be alive. Nobody's denying the existence of trans people either. So to paint this argument where he's gone, oh yeah, I'm just out there saying that trans people deserve to be alive. Well, it can't be all you're saying, because everybody says that. Everybody agrees on that. I mean, you'd find me a person who says that trans people should die, like we need a final solution. Who's saying that? Libs of TikTok isn't saying that. I mean, Matt Walsh isn't saying that. All these right-wing figures that cause this violence, right? They're not saying that trans people should die or deserve to die or anything like that. Mostly what they're saying is that they don't like sexualizing kids, mostly. And so the thing about this is when people point out that they're doing transgender surgeries on kids at Boston Hospital, then people turn in bomb threats. Well, it's not the fault of the people who called out the fact that they're doing transgender stuff, that somebody called in bomb threats. I mean, it really is an individual who commits a crime, and we punish the individual for that. So anyway, that's Ben Collins. He's feeling really sorry for himself because he's catching a lot of heat. Now he's famous. He's becoming a lot more famous because he keeps having controversial opinions. One thing he said was that Twitter was going to die. He said goodbye to Twitter after coming back the next day and saying, oh, Twitter will probably be okay. Yep, it is okay. And you're going to keep tweeting. Ben Collins is going to be in the news for a while. He's just one of those guys. You know, he just wants there to be zero fun. And he also wants to distort issues to make it seem like, but I agree with them. Well, I got in trouble on this show for just saying that I don't think people need to be arrested for drag queen story hour, because when he says that there are drag shows, like he goes, there are drag shows, people want to take their kids to meet a drag queen, and the drag queen just reads a book like Dr. Seuss. And to me, okay, like that's cool. I mean, it's weird to me. Like I would think, and if I was a kid and somebody took me to see a drag queen read to me, I would think it was just kind of weird. But as long as they're not doing sexual stuff, then I think it is an overreaction for people to say, oh, we need these people like locked up, or anybody needs to be arrested, or you need to show up with guns or whatever. I think it's a little over the top. But some of these things, obviously, there's sexual stuff going on where it's kind of racy, because we've all seen the pictures and stuff. So for him to say, oh, these are never sexualized, they are sometimes. And that is a problem, you know? Like, I don't know if it's turning our kids trans or gay or into degenerates or anything. Like, the kids probably walk away from it kind of like, what the hell was that? Mom and dad, or dad and dad, or mom and mom, or they. But it isn't, I mean, I get it. Like, I get why people don't like it, having like sexual stuff in front of kids. So that's it. But that's the argument. I'll play you what a gay guy says. Yeah, that'll help. Gays Against Groomers is this gay group, and they are genuinely gay people, as far as I can tell. I thought at first, when I heard about Gays Against Groomers, that it might not really be gays, but it really is. And this is one of them talking about their reaction to this situation, where everybody's trying to put the blame on Lauren Boebert and Matt Walsh and Libs of TikTok and everybody else. And he's saying that's not what's to blame. Okay, I'll play that. So I will play this because I couldn't possibly get away with saying what this person says, because I guess he's gay, right? So he can say things about his own people. I read somewhere that when you talk about your own group, you're allowed to be more critical of them. So when we talk about our own group, that's why I'm critical of autistic people like Elon Musk and Sam Bankman-Fried. But I can't be critical in the same way about gay people or Jewish people. If I was one of those things, then I could. But this guy can, though. That's all I'm saying. So let me play this clip from a TikTok.
If I see one more post like this about the shooting in Colorado Springs, I'm going to lose my mind. Y'all really think that these people trying to protect the innocence of children, that's what's going to radicalize someone to walk into a gay bar and murder strangers in cold blood? If we're going to speculate as to what could drive such a deep hatred within someone for gay people, I would be pointing fingers at the radicals who are destroying the gay community's reputation. The radicals who are sexualizing children and using LGBT as a cover to do it. I would not be pointing fingers at the people who are trying to protect children from those radicals. There will never be a reason to apologize for protecting the innocence of children, and nobody has blood on their hands for these murders except for the sick individual who committed them. If I see one more post like this about the shooting in...
That's what I think pretty well. I don't want to say, oh, it's because people were acting so crazy that somebody decided to shoot people up. Because even if people act crazy and stupid, and even if they're evil, I'm not sympathetic to somebody who shoots up a place. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's because of all those people who said they were LGBTQ or really trying to sexualize kids that they got shot up, because there's no excuse, as far as I'm concerned, for shooting people up. Right? It's wrong. It's murder. There's like a long history of why murder is wrong. So I'm not going to blame either side. But certainly I agree that you can't, I never heard anybody say that. I haven't heard most people who talk about it, most people who talk about it are not anti-gay or anti-trans. Some people who talk about it are, though, kind of. I mean, some people who talk about some of these issues are anti-gay, and I actually think that's like, I just think it's wrong, right? Because I know gay people, and I understand like people are gay and they can't help it. Basically, whether they're born that way or not, whatever, they can't help it. So they're gay, and if they are, then they deserve happiness. That's all, or they deserve an equal shot at it, at least. So I'm opposed to a lot of like anti-gay rhetoric, and I've gotten pissed off about it before too. Like people who say like gay, and you gotta understand, like I'm kind of libertarian too, and libertarians really believe in individual rights. So the whole thing about getting married and be able to adopt kids and stuff, I think gay people that are not necessarily, there's nothing wrong with them basically by the fact that they're gay. Now, but the trans thing is a whole other story, because you're not born trans and you can kind of help it. I mean, it's totally different. It's a totally different thing. So, and it's one of those things where somebody wouldn't become trans if they didn't know they could in most of these cases. So that's totally different. People are gay. They might not realize it. They might not think about it. They just know at some point they're attracted to the same gender. They're the same sex. But transgender, it's like you learn that you could be a different gender, and then you think, oh, maybe I'm a different gender. And it has nothing to do with sexuality or anything. It's a totally different thing. So, and I'm not anti-trans. Like I wouldn't want to take away rights from anybody, except that I don't think they should have rights that other people don't have, basically. So, like, as a man, I don't think I have a right to go into a women's locker room just because I say I'm a woman. I don't think I should have that right, basically. So that would be more rights than you would normally have. People should have equal rights, I believe, to pursue happiness. We all should. But yeah, that's the story. Lots of back and forth about it. Now, I'll play you some of the clips from the COVID. There was like a COVID press briefing today, and I guess it was Anthony Fauci's last day. So he went out with a bang. I'll play you. Oh, man. It's just too bad I can't even comment on these things because I can't say anything about I can't say anything about what the vaccine does or that it's a bad idea to get it. I can't say anything like that. So basically, I have to play these clips and be like, oh, yeah, they're right. You definitely should. This is one clip. Who is this guy? This is the White House COVID response director saying you should get the COVID shot and the flu shot at the same time.
But it's going to take all of us to make that happen. So please, don't wait. Get your COVID shot. Get your flu shot. That's why God gave you 2 arms. You can one in each arm if you want. Go to vaccines.gov and let's do everything we all can to protect the American people. Thank you.
I just thank God. Thank God it could never be dangerous to do that, to overload your immune system and stuff. So he knows best, thank God, which is that it's totally safe and effective. Oh my God. Safe and effective to get a COVID shot and a flu shot. The flu shot, I think I can say, I don't know what you're allowed to say about vaccines. The flu shot in order to make it, they take a guess at what flu is going to circulate, basically. So the flu vaccine, they say, some people say, conspiracy theorists say, like, that the COVID vaccine isn't very effective, right? That like you still can catch it and stuff. But YouTube says, and obviously so it's true, that it is effective at slowing the spread and stuff. But the flu vaccine, what they do is every year they just say, we think this strain might be the strain this year. And then they're like, okay, we'll make the vaccine and we'll inject people with that. And then if they get lucky, then that is the strain that circulates and it actually kind of works. But some of the time, the strain that they give you an injection for isn't the strain that ends up circulating. And so even officially, like if you look it up, when that happens, the vaccine is not that useful because it doesn't match the prevailing strain of flu. So that's, I don't know what I can tell you. That's a true thing that you can just look up. And it's on the CDC website and stuff, that sometimes the flu shot isn't that effective because it doesn't match the strain that's going around. So that's why sometimes you hear people get the flu shot and they still get the flu and stuff. But the CDC says, YouTube says, definitely. And if you want to, sure, why not? Throw caution to the wind. As long as you're getting one, might as well make it a party. Just make sure you have like a week free, just in case. This is Anthony Fauci saying that the real problem, remember the winter of death and destruction, the winter of death and hospitalization for unvaccinated people. So I think I can say I am unvaccinated. I've never gotten COVID so far. So every time they've told me that being unvaccinated, like I'm going to die, it hasn't happened yet. So that's a personal anecdote. I believe you can share personal anecdotes. So far, I'm a pure blood and I haven't even gotten the coof yet. And I don't think I'm ever gonna. Like somehow I have immunity to it. But Fauci says, this is Fauci on his last day. He is looking old too.
Vaccinated and unboosted versus vaccinated plus boosted. That doesn't mean you shouldn't get boosted, but the real danger is in the people who have not been vaccinated. So that's where we expect, if we're going to see a problem this winter, it's going to be vaccinated and unboosted versus.
Okay. And once again, I can't even make a comment about that. If you go on Twitter, you'll see people reacting to what he said, but I can't comment. He says, and it must be official, that the real problem that we're going to have. I could tell you about statistics and stuff, but I'm a little gun shy. I've already talked about some sensitive topics on this show. So here, this is where the press briefing went a little bit sideways. Somebody started to ask Fauci about the origin of the virus. So let me play that for you. Someone asked him about the origin of the virus, and then that person got shut down, and then other reporters started yelling. So it was like a scene. Let me play it.
About this.
Dr. Fauci, only 13% of.
Hold on one second. We have a process here. I'm not calling out on people who yell. And you're being disrespectful to your colleagues, and you're being disrespectful to our guests. I will not call on you if you yell. And also you're taking time off the clock because Dr. Fauci has to leave in a couple of minutes. I'm done. I'm not getting into a back and forth with you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Dr. Fauci,
but she's
only
only 30 great questions.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
You ask your question, you should allow her to answer.
Go ahead, Jeremy. It is not your turn. It is not your turn.
You can't read a press briefing. You need to call from people across the room. She has a valid question. She's asking about the origin of COVID.
I hear the question.
And Dr. Fauci is the best person to answer
I
that
hear
question.
your question, but we're not doing this the way you want it. This is the disrespectful. It is. I'm done. Simon, I'm done. I'm Simon, I'm done. I'm done with you right now.
Wow. So she shut it down. Somebody who was trying to ask Dr. Fauci if he'd looked into the origins of COVID-19. So that's one of the things that you might see hearings about in this new Congress, with the Republicans in control of things. So you might see research into the origins of COVID-19. I mean, that one's already come around though, right? It's now fairly official, but a lot of people saying that it probably came from a lab and stuff, but they're asking him about it. And he said nothing. In fact, she cockblocked for him and said, you're not getting the real questions in to Anthony Fauci. All right, I have a couple videos from Black celebrities. We always like to hear what they have to say. So one of those is Kanye West. So we have a few Black celebrities who've been called anti-Semitic for 200. Alex is Kanye West. We'll start with Kanye West. And then we'll move on to another Black celebrity who's been called anti-Semitic. So, and both of them are pretty based on what they're talking about. So this is Kanye West talking about how he got censored. If he got censored from his bank, from Apple Pay, he says, then you could get censored. So here he is. This is Kanye, or I'm sorry, I should respect his naming. I've been dead naming Kanye West, or I've been dead naming Ye, who is Ye now officially. So I have to break the habit. But this is Ye in his studios talking about how if it can happen to him, it could happen to you. Here we go.
I went from being a multi-billionaire to not being able to use my Apple Pay. 4 nights ago, I couldn't use my Apple Pay because somehow Adidas was able to legally go in and freeze my money. And when I see this, I think, well, if this could happen to me, this could happen to other Americans. And for what? This can happen to an American that didn't even steal anything, that didn't even hurt anyone. This could just happen to you for saying the wrong idea out loud, for expressing yourself. I went from...
That is true. I've said that before, so it is true. They've proven it. They proved it in Canada 100% when they froze the assets of people involved in the trucker convoy. But they also proved it when they shut me down from PayPal for probably for saying something about Jewish people, if I had to guess. So I've been shut down for having thoughts, but it could have been about other things too. It could have been about Sandy Hook or something, right? People get canceled from payment services. He said he got canceled from Apple Pay. I wonder how that was. How do you get canceled from Apple Pay? It means whatever credit card he was using ended up getting canceled, I guess. But he said Adidas shut him down. So, but that's the truth. You can't have the wrong thoughts. That's why some people are pointing to this tweet and saying that's why we have cryptocurrency, because there is such thing as cryptocurrency, which can't be censored, which you can hold in your own, and which is not even connected to your identity, which doesn't have to be connected to your identity. So that is one way in the future to get around the beast system, is with the cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized and some of which are private. So, all right. So that was Kanye West. I said, I'm going to give you Black celebrities who have been called anti-Semitic. So let me give you Ice Cube next, talking about how he turned down money so that he wouldn't have to get the jab. So I'll play that for you. There you go.
No, I turned down a movie because I didn't want to get the motherfucking jab. I turned down $9 million.
Damn.
Because I didn't want to get the jab.
Didn't want to get,
yeah, fuck that jab. And fuck y'all for trying to make me get it. So, I don't know how Hollywood feel about me right now. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? It ain't just Hollywood no more though. You can go through the streaming. Streaming ain't got nothing to do with
That's Hollywood, bro. Yeah,
Is it really? You think so?
It is. It is. They on some shit, but you know what I mean? Me too. I'm on some shit too.
Cube Vision. No
Yeah,
doubt.
you that shit indie,
Don't
man.
forget about
I am. I'm
Vision.
working on it. I'm
Don't
hustling.
worry about it.
I got a
Don't
few
forget
dollars.
about-
Let's put something together like the weather, man. You dig?
Don't worry about nothing.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Got a lot of things up my sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Damn, turned out 9 million. Well, I mean,
I didn't turn
that's-
it down. Them motherfuckers didn't give it to me because I wouldn't get the shot.
Exactly.
I didn't turn it down.
Oh, okay.
They just didn't give it to me.
Oh, because you wouldn't get the COVID shot.
Yeah, the COVID shot.
Oh,
The jab.
The jab.
Yeah. During the
They wouldn't
pandemic.
let 'em-
he wouldn't
During,
let 'em poke.
during
I
the
didn't catch that
pandemic,
shit
man. The pandemic.
At all.
You didn't need
Nothing. Fuck them.
I didn't catch it at all.
Yeah, I didn't need that shit.
But he caught it about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, well, you know, circumstances. I got lucky.
Yeah, me
But
too.
Ain't gonna take no shit I don't need.
Yeah, I feel you.
I like these shows. These shows, everybody's drinking, everybody's relaxed, everybody's having a good time. Yeah, but he's talking about 9 million effing dollars that he didn't get because he decided that he wouldn't get the shot. So that's really standing up for yourself. 9 million. What would you do? What would you do? Really, seriously, think about it. 9 million bucks is a lot of cash. And the shot, whatever they say about it, I mean, whatever, let's say the conspiracy theorists are right and that it could kill you, right? Let's say that, even though obviously it's not true. It can't possibly. But let's say it was true that it could kill you. It's definitely true that sometimes it doesn't. So you might think, oh, maybe I'll roll the dice for the 9 mil, right? Possibly. I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, I didn't get the shot, but I wasn't offered, to be fair, I wasn't offered $9 million. That the only requirement was that I take the shot and then I can get the money. I hate to tell you guys, like, I'm real serious, but I'm a gambler too. And those aren't bad odds. I don't know. I mean, I might be willing to gamble, just that I'd be one of the lucky ones, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's Ice Cube. And then I have more. Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, I had more black people being anti-Semitic because a bunch of black people showed up, or what they call anti-Semitic. A bunch of people showed up for the Kyrie Irving game. A lot of black Hebrew Israelites chanting, "We are the real Jews." So I'll show you that. This happened outside the Barclays Center for Kyrie Irving's return. So this is people marching in the streets chanting, "We are the real Jews." I'll play that. Wow, they're pretty well organized. Just a whole bunch of them marching down the street. So that's apparently black Hebrew Israelites out. This describes it as out in force, chanting, "We are the real Jews," and "Time to wake up." So that's the thing that's going on. I think that black Hebrew Israelite thing, I mean, it's not unpopular. People really bought into that thing. Some people in that community. So Seems like there's going to be some issues. Seems like there are some ongoing tensions between those groups of people. Some between Jewish people and Black people. All right, I'll check my Buy Me a Coffees. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'll check there. If I got a few of them, I have people tuned in. Thanks for tuning into the show. I really appreciate it. It's good to see you. And I will see. Thanks, Notpod Ghost, who says Club Q has a history of staff drugging, sexual assaulting performers, and currently at least okay. So I'm going to say this, but it is not confirmed. This is not confirmed. This is just from somebody who's listening to the show who left a super chat. He says, Club Q has a history of staff drugging, sexual assaulting performers, and currently has at least one 17-year-old performer. Shooter changed his name, and his dad is a MMA porno surfer drug smuggler. He says, so this is unconfirmed. I can't confirm those things. This is what some people are saying. And I'll look into it. Jim from Baltimore got 3 coffees. Says, any calls tonight? Maybe. We got people tuned in. Someone bought a coffee after seeing the Balenciaga video, who says, really disgusted by the Balenciaga campaign. They've now lost a customer. So, all right, because I am concerned about the things I've said on this show, but only because YouTube loves to censor things. But if you can call in, I know I have a few people tuned in. So if you can call in and not say anything that would get censored, then I'm open to that idea. And you can continue to drop coffees, and I'll check over on Rockfin. Somebody else says open the phones. So thanks, Vogan Filter. You're the man. Really appreciate the tip. And thanks, Fed Up Canadian over there on Rockfin. All right. Because we have people tuned in, we will open the phone and see what people have to say for us for a little bit. But please don't say the wrong thing, please, if that's okay. All right. You can call in at 650-429-8294. 650 Gay Taxi is the number. 650-429-8294. You guys, wow, that was fast. Hey, you're on the air.
Nathan, what's up? It's Hobo Tommy.
Hey, Hobo Tommy. Litecoin's doing good.
Yeah, man, it's recovering while Bitcoin is dropping, so that's kind of something new.
Yeah, I know. So that's cool. What's going on, Hobo Tommy?
Oh, nothing. I wanted to pick your brain and maybe educate your listeners about how to buy crypto without tying your identity to it. You know, it's called KYC, right?
Yeah, right. It is very difficult to do, to buy cryptocurrency without having to provide your identity. I know one way, kind of, but it's very difficult. So what's the secret?
Well, I'm going to tell you how I do it. And I don't know, this obviously isn't going to work for everybody. So, you know, I'm in Latin America, right? So the Bitcoin ATMs are still pretty popular down here. Do they still have those in the States?
There are places, yeah, like even in the grocery store, the Coinstar machines, I believe, are also Bitcoin ATMs, I believe. So I've never used one, but I believe that they're available like pretty easily here in this country.
So where I'm at, I'm in Colombia. So the only thing, well, you need a phone number, a local phone number, and you need an ID.
Oh,
however,
okay.
since I'm a gringo, I have this like super cheap fake ID that like I just printed off the internet, and I just scanned that, and I don't know if it's because it's in English, but they just approved it, and so that's what I did.
I see.
I scanned a fake ID. I used my buddy's phone number. Boom, completely anonymous.
And what did you do that? Like, what kind of exchange did you go on to do that? or can you not say?
The Bitcoin ATMs here, they can print you out a paper wallet.
Oh, so you did it at a
So I-
Bitcoin ATM. So the Bitcoin ATM requires an ID and phone number. Is that what you're saying? But
Correct.
it's easily
And
defeated.
then-
I see. Okay, I got it.
And then so you put your money into the ATM, and then it'll print you out a paper wallet, an old school paper wallet with a QR code.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I can take that paper wallet, I could just store it, or usually what I do is I put it on my Treasure or my Jax wallet. So on my cold storage, I don't
Right.
put anything in exchanges.
Right. I got it. Yeah, that's cool. The only other way I know how to do it is, at least in America, you can use Apple Pay to buy crypto with MetaMask wallet, and that doesn't ask you
Okay.
for, it doesn't ask you for any ID on top of the, I mean, to activate Apple Pay, you have to provide some stuff, but it doesn't ask you for ID or anything, and it goes directly into a wallet where you control it. So that's the best way I've ever seen it. And you can only buy ETH that way, but that's one way you can do
Okay.
it.
Well,
So
yeah, so the ATMs here, you can do like 3 different currencies. But once you get one currency, then you can mix and match.
what currencies?
I don't know.
What currencies can you get?
What's that?
What currencies can you get?
Down here, I can get Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Tether. I think those are the 4.
So Litecoin's on there. That's cool. Interesting. Even Tether's not bad if you're in a country where the currency's collapsing or something.
Yeah. I guess, and then the other option, what I used to do with my friends is I would just buy. If you have friends that are into crypto, I would just pay cash. Get
right.
them to move it around.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then there's there's also local, is it called local bitcoins or something.com? Or there's something called local bitcoins, right? Where you can go and you can use PayPal. A lot of people are selling they'll sell you some Bitcoin by PayPal. Right.
Okay. I'm with you. I got kicked off of PayPal like a decade ago.
Yeah,
so
I know. Right. I know. But there are ways you can buy crypto that way sometimes. So that's also doesn't require your identity. So.
But I mean, these people, there's rumors saying, you know more about this. I don't really follow the exchanges. I never kept any money on exchanges, but they're saying that there's another one that's about to go down. Have you heard anything about that?
Genesis.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, Genesis, apparently, if they don't get $1 billion or something, they're going to go under. And it sounds like nobody wants to give them the money. So it sounds like they're going under. And they might be related to Gemini somehow. Like they're the people that did the earn part of Gemini, maybe. And then also the group that they're involved with also owns a lot of other things. Apparently, it's a big crypto group. So yeah, a lot of people are talking about that fallout. But
yeah, man, these exchanges, they've been getting popped since Mount Gox.
Yeah, right.
At this point, I feel like they're intentionally trying to crash. All these exchanges are complicit in bringing down the crypto market.
Yeah.
If you're keeping like you said, not your keys, not your cheese.
Yeah, that's right. Cool, man.
But anyway, I got one more anecdotal, one more observation I noticed down here. So I'm in Latin America again, super conservative Catholic country, not a whole lot of gay pride stuff. But during Gay Pride Month, the only rainbow flags I saw here in the big city were on the banks. And I swear I noticed it because I was paying attention.
Funny.
The only place you saw the homo propaganda was on the banks.
Interesting. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Well, if I was a company, I would advertise to gay people too. I mean, a lot of them have disposable income, and I totally get that. I get trying to cater to gay people, but obviously it's gone pretty far now. It's obviously now it's just virtue signaling. But I used to get it. I would understand. I remember it was controversial that Budweiser started running ads for gays, right? And I was like, oh, well, it makes sense. I mean, gay guys drink beer, so might as well run. Just same if you make an ad that's right. So, but then when it's just total virtue signaling, though. It's like, oh, we do the rainbows during Pride Month and all that other stuff.
I don't know. The way I saw it here, it was completely inorganic. It seemed like they were pushing an agenda. I'm like you. I'm libertarian leaning. I let people do what they want, but it was so obnoxious the way that like the banks were just pushing it.
That is funny. All right, man.
But anyway, hey, I'll let you go. And all you suckers on YouTube, go to Rockfin. I'll catch you later, Nathan.
All right. Thanks, Hobo. See ya. That's Hobo Tommy or Tommy Hobo. He donates to the show sometimes. He is living in Colombia. He says the cocaine is good. That's what he said before on a call. I was like, but the CDC says you can't say that. Bitcoin's pumping right now. I have my charts open on my other screen. Do you guys like it with the I have a new, you might have noticed the camera's working better than it has been on other shows. I have video effects now. You might have noticed my blur. Look, I can unblur my background, or I can blur it if you guys think it looks better. You can vote. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, happy belated birthday, Jim from Baltimore. How you doing?
Thanks, Jim. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, considering I just puffed some Durban poison. That's the only poison I'll have.
All right. Is it real cannabis or is it Delta 8 or something?
No, I switch in between the two because it kind of helps me balance out like my tolerance.
Okay, got it. So which one was it then? Is it the real one or the synthetic?
It seems like, well, they made it stronger. It's not in the teens anymore in percentage of THC. So they must have bred it with something else because it's a little different tasting and it's not as even balanced with the terpenes, but it does have some good terps, but it's just different, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like lemon grenades. They've totally, to me, they've ruined it. I mean, they took it from a sativa to a hybrid sativa, which can put you to sleep pretty easy.
Interesting. All right. So what's
Especially
up?
when there's lots of THC. Anyway, so like, listen, I was hanging out with my nephew and got some good sleep afterwards, and I woke up and I heard these people's voices somehow on my PlayStation. Hoax Wars started playing, and it was like 4:30 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and like it went like almost 11 and a half hours.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
And of course he couldn't save it because he was saying all kinds of stuff that, you know.
Yes.
It's not too good for YouTube.
Right. You can say stuff as long as you delete it right away.
That's right. Yeah, like the monograph dude, he deletes his immediately.
Does he?
Mostly.
I have to decide. What do you think about my show today? Do you think I was okay?
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, you're really even balanced, and if they take you down for just talking what you said tonight, that they're just horrible.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I think I was reasonable. Well, that's cool.
I mean, well, yeah, man. I hope all's well in your land. How's your wife doing?
She's doing good, thanks. She's doing good. Thanks. She just got a new laptop.
Yeah, that sometimes it's good, sometimes it ain't so good. It all depends, I guess.
What's that? Being married or
No.
which thing?
No, getting a new laptop.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. She got a new laptop for my birthday, basically. So I'm a little jealous, but
well,
she's good.
You know, what did she get you for your birthday, if you don't mind me asking?
I haven't found out yet. I might get it in the future. I'm gonna. Apparently, there's something coming, so I'll find out. But whatever it is, I'll be happy. So.
Yeah, good surprise, man. Yeah, that's always more fun to get a good surprise after your birthday.
Yep.
Anyway, man, I'll let you go. And,
thanks, Jim.
You have a good night.
All right.
Katie, have a good night, and I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right. See you, Jim.
See it.
All right. I'll take one more call. Figure out. Yeah, I'll take one more call. 650-429-8294. Yep. Bitcoin's pumping right now. A little bit. I think it's going to recover, but it's been very dark for cryptocurrency. But I think it's going to come back. 650-429-8294. If you want to call, I'll give you a second, and then I'll take one last phone call. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks if you're new. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you want. While you're watching right now, you can give me a thumbs up. And you can subscribe, and I do the show every day. So thanks for tuning in. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. It's nice to see you. So this is a cool show. We hang out. We talk about the news. I talk about the news, different subjects, controversial subjects. And sometimes people call in, like this person. Hey, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, this is Nathan.
Yeah, what's up?
I appreciate your show.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here with my son. He is about to be 13.
Okay.
And we're chilling and watching your show.
That's great. You find it age appropriate for a 13-year-old?
I do.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
And he was telling me to call.
Oh, cool.
And doing like the chicken.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks. It's really good to hear from you.
Yes, I actually do have a question.
Yeah.
I do have something that I would want to say. And it's a weird thing. I really don't know how I would word it because I didn't think that I would actually get on the air.
Okay.
I've watched this show for over a decade. I don't know. So I do have a question.
Yes.
Or not a question. It was a proposition of the idea that the vaccine is a potential protection from biological warfare from another country.
You think the vaccine? Okay, so this is a conspiracy theory that you would be allowed to
Yeah.
have, actually, maybe. If your conspiracy theory is that the vaccine protects you from something extra, you could probably say that.
Biological.
Yeah, so you're saying it's
Yeah.
possible that the vaccine
Extra.
actually protects people from biological warfare in the future, which, like, because we assume biological warfare is coming?
Yes.
Interesting. Why do you have that theory? Where did you come up with that?
I have it because I speak with interesting people sometimes. I don't know. I try to have conversations in real life
Really?
with real people, but I'm not sure. This is maybe some. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's an interesting theory. Are you vaccinated or are you unvaccinated?
I am on.
So do you feel like you're vulnerable? Do you feel like you might be more vulnerable to some future biological attack because you didn't get the vaccine that might protect people from that?
Oh, like that was the immediately like the idea, but I just thought to myself I wouldn't be that fearful that that it would make me. I wouldn't get the vaccine under the fear
Right.
of that.
Right.
No.
It's not enough
No.
to convince you. Okay, I got it.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think anyway, it seems it's an interesting theory, but maybe unlikely.
And that's I think that's about it.
All right,
With the
cool.
censorship stuff, I appreciate getting on the show. This is
Thanks.
really cool.
Really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
All
Nice
right.
talking to you too.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. That's cool. That's somebody whose 13-year-old son is listening to the show. Sometimes young people listen to the show. I think it might be age appropriate. You have to be pretty advanced though. Most people, I can look at my statistics, and statistically speaking, No one under the age of 24 listens to this show, statistically speaking. So if you find yourself under the age of 24 and listening to my voice right now, you don't exist. You're a conspiracy theory, because my numbers say specifically that you guys don't exist, that no one listens to the show. So that's cool to hear. Someone under 24, 13 years old. So that's cool. All right. Great. Well, I hope everything goes well. I hate being stressed out about YouTube, but I really did follow the rules. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Good to see you. The show is 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, weekdays, except sometimes it's a little early on Fridays. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. I'll check my coffees just in case anybody left me one. You can leave another coffee. You can leave coffees even after the show is over by going to buymeacoffee.com/liftveil. And that's what the show runs off of. So yeah, that's it. And somebody else dropped a donation on Rockfin. I want to make sure to thank that person. Thanks, Michelle Obama is a man. Appreciate it for the tip over on Rockfin. All right, guys. So we'll see you at the next one. For now, that is what it is.